So, you probably noticed this by now, but, I kind of didn't go to locals today. To be perfectly honest, I was purely lazy. I was just, wanted to get out of bed, but I just couldn't, and so I just sort of was like, screw it, get some more sleep in. So it kind of went south from there. But as a means to make up for it, though, I am going to go ahead and show off the deck that I would have played at the local had I gone. So there's a little bit of an extra introduction to the whole idea of the deck. It is a rabbit deck, and the whole gimmick behind it is to go into this guy, Bahamut Shark. If you've played Mermails, you know what this guy does. The whole point of him is to get an Acid Golem on the board and then creature swap the opponent. This deck actually bears so many similarities to Dino Rabbit in both its plays and the structure of the deck. It's pretty much got all of the bits and pieces a bunch of the bits and pieces that you would normally see in a Dino Rabbit deck, but is a lot more water based and is designed to basically stun your opponent and then just keep burning them for 2,000 points each turn with Acid Golem. Hence the name that I gave to the deck, which is Acidtrip.dek. If you don't like the drug reference, you may just call it Bahamut Rabbit. Also, I should probably establish where I actually got this from. There was a guy who used to go to my locals who played this, I think, early last year. Yeah, I think it was early last year. He played this deck. I saw it, and I actually found it to be really interesting because I quite like Bahamut Shark, and I really wanted to be able to use it in a deck that is not Mermails. And this is pretty much the best option that I saw to make that happen. And like I hope, and when Rescue Rabbit did get put to 1 for last year's September list, I thought that this deck was far too slow. It wasn't really going to work. It was not so much dead, but was kind of not really worth working on. But with a few of the bits and bobs that have come out recently, I figured, you know what, might as well give it a crack. I put it through some testing, and it's actually been doing quite well. So we'll start off with the list, and we have our rabbit. Obvious rabbit play, does the shenanigans. And then for the vanillas, we have the 3 Carbazols, because the whole idea for this guy still being around is the fact that he is water. The water vanillas, you need water attribute monsters to go into Bahamut Shark, so Carbazols was also a good idea because it facilitates Lagia and Dolka plays as well. And then for the other vanilla, I have triple Aquamador. Now the reason I have triple Aquamador is because this is the only other water attribute rabbit target that I have 3 copies of. As far as I know, the strongest in the category is Gargagigo with 1850. And that's what the person at the locals used along with the Carbazols. But I had to stick with this because, yeah, restrictions sort of thing. If I really wanted to, I could probably gather up a playset of 7 colored fish or something, because that's only 50 points weaker than Gargagigo. But this guy is actually not too bad. It's a 2000 bite, and it's only got 1200 attack, which is actually good because when you go into 2 of these with a rabbit, you do not have to fear bottomless. It's not going to happen to this thing. Whereas compared to Carbazols, if you're trying to go for that potential Lagia play, you can possibly get Carbazols bottomless. And yes, Torrential's still a thing, but Torrential's not so bad because I can recycle these because I've got Digesto Emerald, so it's not actually that big a deal. Then we have triple Hydrogeddon, which is pretty much the crummier version of Guiba. Reason I specifically go for Hydrogeddon is once again to up the water count. I would be running Guiba if I didn't feel the need for the waters, but the whole point is to get Bahamut Shark onto the board and do all the creature swapping shenanigans and whatnot. So, excuse me, I opted with the Hydrogeddon in this case. The only genuinely crappy part about this is the fact that if there's like a macro or something on board, then this thing won't get its effect off. It has to send the monster that it destroyed per battle to the graveyard in order to go off. Which it kind of sucks, but it's not that big a deal. It's only 100 points weaker, so but you know, Guibe wasn't particularly strong, but Lances helped it out, so that's not too bad. We have triple tour guide. Gotta put it forward. Yeah, standard tour guide engine, which is the 3 tour guide and the Knight of Salad. I don't think I have to say anything more about this. 4-card engine, because that way you get the most use you possibly can out of your tour guides, because you don't want to be topping into your tour guides and having them be dead, because they are power cards. They are very powerful cards. Thunder King, because it basically, if you don't have Rabbit in your opening turn, this is your next best thing. And it's just general sort of stunny sort of thing. And then 2 Effect Veiler, because in particular, I've actually been kind of shafted by Sign on Arc. I found myself being pretty much just smacked in the face by it. So I've decided to throw these in if I do ever actually end up dealing with a Sign on Arc, which shouldn't be a problem if I have Lagia or Dolka, because I can just negate it with either one. But just as an extra little bit of backup, and it causes general sort of little bits of disruption here and there anyway. So for the spells, we've got Gold Sark, which is actually quite awesome to have in this deck, especially with the tour guides, because you can just banish your Rabbit and go into your tour guide play with the Leviair and get it back, and then, you know, it's always nice. And if you've already got the Rabbit, then you can always use it to banish something else of use, which in this case can always be like a creature swap, so that you can prepare for something, get some random trap that you want to add and set that sort of thing up. I don't have a Pot of Dichotomy in here yet, and it's not actually a bad idea, especially if I decide to take in a template Goldfish, because that'd be pretty handy. This can get that, and then once you've got your fuel set up, you can just put your stuff back into your deck and then just immediately use it. So it's quite useful in this sort of build. It has multiple purposes. Then double Pot of Duality, just to add for a little bit of consistency. And then the main spells of the deck, which are the double Creature Swap and the double Mystic Box. The point is to use these to give the Acid Golem to the opponent. In the case of Creature Swap, you take an opponent's monster. In the case of Mystic Box, you blow up an opponent's monster. The difference between these two is that this can get screwed over by whatever Bujin card is that can negate that sort of stuff. I think, like, whenever a Bujin gets targeted by something, you can negate it. Creature Swap can get around that, but yeah, just don't use Mystic Box on that sort of thing, because that you're just begging for punishment there. But the point is, you want to get your Acid Golem over to the opponent so that you can burn the shit out of your opponent with acid. Hence the title I gave to it. Double Lance to work with the Hydreigodons. Double MST for the back row hate. Double Book of Moon. Book of Moon and Dark Hold, because they're the standard sort of staples. And then for the traps, we've got triple Threatening Roar, because it can take a little bit of time to get into the combo pieces, so it's nice to have this thing, and it's really good because of its reactiveness. Yeah, because it's a hell of a reactive card, so it's really nice to have. So the opponent MSTs this, they've essentially wasted an MST, because you can just prevent them from attacking. If they do drop some big creatures, then that's fine. Then we have double D-Prison to get shit off the board. Then Compulse, Bottomless, Torrential, Mirror Force, all 3 in gold, Sparkly, and Solemn Warning to round out the traps. It's pretty much a standard sort of trap lineup with a whole bunch of reactive sort of shtick in it. Then for the extra deck, one of the main 2 extra deck cards in the form of the Bahamut Shark. Put this on the board, detach a material to get an Acid Golem onto the board, or any other rank 3 or lower Water Exceeds monster from the extra deck, in which case the only other one I've got is Leviathan Dragon. And this also has the same loophole as Battle Box Spara, so that you can attack with this and then use the material, and you can still do that because it says it can't attack for the rest of this turn. So it's yeah, nice little loophole you can exploit. But most of the time you don't really want to be attacking unless you have to go for Lagia or Dolka, because you can. Because of course I've got enough dinosaur presents for me to be like, yay, I can have that. And then the Volvo Chain, basically if you've got nothing but a Hydreigodon, you can use the Hydreigodon, smack over something, get another Hydreigodon, and then go straight into this to put the rabbit on top of the deck. Or if you've already got or you know, you can just put something else and get set for that. Or like if you've got if you've got like Goldsark, you can remove your rabbit and then set this up and get a tour guide on top, so that you can just immediately go into a Leviair in the following turn and just start wrecking face. The Gusto Emerald to recycle vanillas, and I can actually get them back as well, which is always nice. Silent on Arc, because it is Silent on Arc. Abyss Dweller, which I've become kind of less and less of a fan of lately. Because when I used this the other day against in Constellas in the box local, I dropped this against Mermails and they still managed to get around it, which was kind of dumb. The only real reason I'm using it here is because I can get the 500 boost, because of the water-based sort of stuff. Then we have Maestro for the defense and Cowboy for game to wrap out the rank. To round out the rank 4s, and then for the rank 3s we have the other main, Exceed, in the form of double Acid Golem. This is just the target. You put it on the board through Bahamut Shark. You creature top it to your opponent. The opponent then cannot special summon. They can't attack with this thing without any materials, and they can't detach, which obviously means they can't detach, so they have to take 2,000 every turn. The only way that the opponent can get this off the board is if they use something like a Dark Hole or Torrential or something like that, or if they tribute. But I've got the whole tribute thing pretty much sorted. So then we got Leviathan Dragon, just sort of as another target if so choosing, but it's also a beat stick as well. Leviair, because it's pretty much the rank 3 staple when you're running tour guides, especially in the whole sense of getting back banished stuff. And then the Zen Mines, just for the defense. I would go with Fortune Tune, but I like Zen Mines just to get the just to get rid of any persistent monster threats, or to get rid of some back row as well if I need to. So moving on to the side deck, I've got Double Max C for the special summon spammy decks. I have one Trap Eater. This just sends stuff like Royal Decree to the graveyard. I don't like Royal Decree against this deck, so I've got this guy sort of set up to just say no to that. I've also got Third MST for that purpose. Twister can deal with other shit, because against decks that may actually side macro, I would not side my own macro or anything like that. So I would like, and thus I would like to maintain, keep macro off their board. So I just have the Twister, and because I feel retro, I figured I might as well run a remove trap, because I don't know, I'm just, like I said, I'm retro. Reverse Trap's professional, so don't diss it. And then last spell is our D-Fissure, and then we've also got the Macro and the Soul Drain, which is like the the trinity of the side deck or something like that, which case I would have to obligatorily call it the Triforce of the side deck. I'm thinking about cutting Macro and D-Fissure though, because they seem, because I'm not really, they don't seem to be too flash hot in this particular deck, especially with the whole point of what do you call him, Hydreigodon not being able to get its effect if he's just banishing everything that he kills. Then we have Mask of Restrict. So if you're playing against me and you're playing Hieratics or Monarchs, you do have a chance to get Acid Golem off the board by tributing until I put this in game 2 and 3, in which case, yeah, good luck. basically, Mask of Restrict plus Acid Golem on the opponent's board essentially means that your opponent is just going to have a slow and painful death unless they can blow the Mask of Restrict up. We got DNA Surgery because it's actually quite funny to flip this up, call Dinosaurs, and then drop my Aquamadors, then go into a Lagia or a Dolka without having to fear for my Aquamadors getting bottom list. Because that's another difference, you know, I can go for Cubazors, but I still run the risk of getting them both bottom list. And then double Divine Wrath because, yeah, deal with more effect-based shit. Particularly against something like, if I was going up against Light Sworns, like Lila would be a thing to use, Hieratic Dragon of Sue, that sort of jazz. So, that is pretty much it for the Bahamut Rabbit deck. Hopefully I'll be taking this to my next local. The only thing that will prevent me from doing so is if the lure of the new Sun Dragon deck build that I've been working on is proves to be too tempting. It's actually really, really bloody tempting because I'm actually liking the way that deck is turning out at the moment in testing and whatnot. So see what happens. I don't think I'll be going to the local this coming Sunday because my body clock is a bit weird. I might have said this at the start. I don't know because this is like my 4th or 5th attempt at the video because I keep forgetting stuff. And now I'm pretty much rambling and the video is going for more than bloody 16 minutes. So, yeah, this is just about done with the video. Yeah, see you for whatever it is that I do next.